Hey, it's Christine. I wanted to share what's helped me the most with overcoming emotional eating. If you've clicked on this video, it might be something that you're struggling with, so stick around and try these strategies. They might help you out a lot. And I am by no means a professional mental health counselor, so if you feel like you need professional help because emotional eating, overeating, and binge eating, or any of the eating disorders can be kind of tough to do on your own. So if you need professional help, definitely seek that. So take this as a supplement to your journey. And maybe this will cure you like it did for me. So one thing that really helped me was realizing where my thoughts were when I was emotionally eating. So I would find myself stressed out, or sometimes I would just feel tired, and I would just automatically reach for very sugary, fatty type foods like cookies, cake, ice cream, cereal, and I would just like eat endlessly and mindlessly. And it felt like I'd have to eat a lot to feel satisfied, to get that fullness. And I realized that even though I hated doing that pattern, it was serving me in the way that it would eventually make me feel more relaxed. Like if you eat a lot of food, dopamine gets rushed to your brain, or I don't know if it gets rushed to your brain, it gets created in your brain, which is the neurotransmitter. And I'm not exactly a scientist person, but it's basically the hormone or neurotransmitter that causes you to feel good. So yes, this pattern that I hated so much that I would feel so guilty about afterwards, it was serving a purpose. It was helping me calm down. And no matter how many times I recognized that, I would just find myself falling back into that pattern because it was so automatic. And when I realized that I had a core belief that eating food would make me feel better. So once I recognized that, I flipped it around and said, and affirmed over and over in my head, I actually feel better when I choose not to eat in those moments. Or I feel better when I eat a good amount of food. I feel better when I eat healthy. I feel better when I stick to my meal plan. I would use the affirmation, I feel better when, and after that, decide what actions I wanted to stick with so that my subconscious mind noticed that I felt better when I didn't overeat and emotionally and binge. And then it became a new core belief and a new pattern where when I did feel like stress or if I was tired, I would just remind myself that affirmation, I feel better when I choose not to eat. I feel better when I don't eat. And it just played out like magic for me like that. And then for weeks and now months, I actually haven't really like found myself emotionally eating, maybe a little bit here and there. I'm human, so not perfect, but I definitely have not been overeating. And this is something, the binge eating and emotional eating is something that I've struggled with for like over 10 years, like at least once a week, if not more. So to realize that just that shift of that core belief and changing it with an affirmation as simple as I feel better when I don't eat so much or I eat less. I feel better when I go for a walk instead. And then my subconscious mind is just like, yeah, we do feel better when you don't decide to eat. And then that old habit pattern of thinking that I feel better when I do eat just kind of dissipated is a good way to say it. So yeah, what is your gonna, what do you want to choose instead? How do you want to feel better? If, you know, you find that you're in the same place. You're using food as almost like a drug to make you feel instantly better, especially the sugary foods, because one other thing that helped me realize is that when you do eat something that is high in sugar, your blood sugar spikes, and then your pancreas releases insulin to help bring your blood sugar down. Insulin also helps put that sugar in your food in your cells. So it has a good purpose. Sorry, my dog's in the background. Shh. So your blood sugar spikes, your insulin spikes, and your insulin brings your blood sugar down. When that happens, you can tend to feel kind of hungry as your blood sugar is coming down. But if you wait it out, eventually your blood sugar will balance out and then you won't feel as hungry anymore. So just also knowing that as well, like if you did eat something that's like very carbohydrate full or sugar, got a lot of sugar in it, just know that, oh, you know what? My body's probably going through that blood sugar spike. It's going to kind of crash down at some point, and I might feel tired. I might crave more sugar. If I just wait it out and use that affirmation, I feel better when I wait it out. I feel better when I choose not to eat. It'll all balance out, and you'll be like, oh, in a few, like, I don't know, 30 minutes, an hour, you'll just feel much more balanced. I also had a belief that, well, I started to incorporate the belief, and now I believe it very fully, that I feel better when I choose not to eat because my mind is more clear. When I used to emotionally and binge eat, like my mind would just be like, oh, flooded, and I'd just be like zoned out, and I felt like I couldn't focus. Now I'm like, well, if I choose not to eat, I have much more mental clarity. Like I can just focus, I can handle whatever the situation is that's stressing me out or triggering me. And I can also use affirmations to flip whatever's stressing me out. So that's another bonus. And I feel like there was one other thing I wanted to mention. I also wanted to mention the difference between hunger and cravings, because those are two very different things. Hunger comes on gradually. And when you are truly hungry, you haven't eaten for a few hours, and you're more likely wanting something that's substantial and maybe even healthy. Like you could totally go for some protein like chicken and vegetables. Like you pretty much will eat anything, and it feels like you need like something substantial. Cravings come on very intensely, and they're more driven by your mind. It's almost like an addiction that you need to get that particular craving instantly, and you will go out of your way to get that particular item. It's a little crazy. And typically, cravings kind of stem somewhere from our childhood experience or just a memory from a past experience where we had a good time, we had that food, we were having the dopamine rush from the experience and the dopamine rush from the food. And some way, somehow in our neural pathways in our brain, it get linked up that that particular food makes us happy. So when you're feeling stressed out, your subconscious mind is like, oh my God, let's get happy. Go get the ice cream. And it doesn't even like really even tell you that. You just go, ice cream, I need it right now. I need this particular flavor. I'm going to the store right now. So what happens when you have those cravings? Well, you could realize, hey, you know what? I know it's my subconscious mind trying to help me out. I know that I have some kind of neural pathway that has been linked up, that that particular food is going to make me feel better, but I'm choosing. I feel better when I choose not to eat it. I feel better and more relaxed when I take deep breaths. I feel better and more relaxed when I go for a walk. I feel better when I talk to someone about the situation. Or I just feel better when I decide to affirm this situation is going to work out the best way possible for me. Everything always works out for me. That's another nice affirmation to follow up with. I feel better when I choose not to give into this craving, and everything is always working out for me. So there's no need to stress about the situation anyway. Double whammy. There you go. No, but seriously, I really hope that that helps you out. Um, Hit me up if you need additional support with that, because I know it can be a very solitude struggle. Like it feels so by yourself, like something that no one really else can help you with, but you just got to watch what's going on in your mind, watch that self-talk and flip it around. Say, no, I don't want to believe that eating massive amounts of food is the only way to make me feel better. I am deciding I feel better when I choose what's healthy for me. I choose not to eat in those situations. I choose to know that everything always works out for me. And you know this, you know it always does. Because you are the operant power. You decide how this situation is going to play out. You can decide, no, it is not going to work out in the worst case scenario. It is going to work out in my favor. It is going to work out in the best case scenario because I chose it to be that way. So there's also a little bit of self-concept work that you got to go on with this emotional eating journey, right? You kind of have to take on the self-concept that you are no longer an emotional eater. And as you affirm these affirmations that I feel better when I don't eat, I feel better when I eat an appropriate amount of food, I feel better when I choose a healthy meal. That changes your self-concept when you start to see that you actually follow through with those affirmations. You change your self-concept and you're like, wow, I naturally eat when I'm hungry. I stop when I'm full. Why did I even struggle with this? You step into the version of you that you've always wanted to be. You're at your goal weight. You're thriving, happy, alive, enjoying your food, eating slowly and mindfully. Probably something you've always wanted, just to enjoy life and not stress out and not have to emotionally eat and all that stuff. Wow, this went deep. It went from emotional eating to how to change it with affirmations to changing your self concept, changing your whole life. And there we go. I'm sure you got something out of this, hopefully, if you watched it all the way to this point. Anyway, comment below or hit me up if you have any other questions. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you want to learn more manifesting techniques and affirmations and all that goodness. Hit me up if you need one-on-one coaching. My link is in the About section, and I'll see you in the next video.